He wants to go back to his cave where it's comfortable.
No, I don't.
Go back to the cocoon.
No, I don't.
This is Sparta. Go back to your cocoon.
I never liked that there. I never liked it.
Yes.
That's interesting. Because when I was...
Now we got a powerful message for the young men and the elder men out there.
We prepared talking about this, but I didn't think of this. Is when I was, since I'm young, you know how when you're a kid and you ask that to anybody and most people feel different than all the others.
Most people feel different than
They
all
say,
the others.
I don't
feel like an old person.
No, I don't I don't feel like the others. I'm different. I'm different than the other kids. And they try to belong. They try to be the same.
They don't fit in.
They want to fit in.
Right.
And I remember for as long as I remember, that I could remember
It's
things.
about 6 months probably.
I remember
Give or
that.
take a week.
And this is not singing, but this is an interesting insight. I remember that I also felt different than all the other kids. And at the same time, I had zero desire to fit in. I took pride and joy in the fact that I would be different.
Yes.
I remember my father saying even, you do things just because they're different. And I remember thinking, well, yeah, I don't want to be like the others. And that's interesting in the light of what we're going to talk about today.
You've succeeded in becoming very strange. You're very unique, Hans. Very unique man. Extremely unique.
Can you be unique and extremely unique? That's a euphemism for freak.
Hey, well.
Oh.
I know some of your ex-girlfriends, so.
Huh?
Just going on what they said, All right, let's get into it, shall we?
Let's get into it. What's the topic of the day?
You said something about denial, because for those of you who don't know, Hans works with men who are on the path to being great men, great leaders, and great leaders with their women in relationship, and great with women, and yesterday, this is a great conversation where we're talking about how do we help people break free and transform. We all kind of get comfortable at a certain level or area in life or on our path. How does real transformation happen? And how can we as leaders, brothers, allies, coaches, whatever, help affect the wake up and the transformation in another man? And it's an incredible challenge. So you want to say something about denial?
Yeah.
Or are you going to deny that you said that?
I'm sure going to ignore that comment. But we could say...
Sorry, I have to interrupt you. Sandra Douglas. Oh my God. It's been 12 years. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Sorry.
Hey, Sandra.
We're mostly not going to interact with viewers today, but I saw you were watching.
But if you write something incredible, then we might interact. That's a good exercise. We could say we only help the guys that are completely ready and say, I want to jump, I want to fight this socially conditioned rhetoric, I want to break free of what I've been told, I want to lead the life and the lifestyle that I create, and that's outside what's normal and conventional. Let's go. We could say we're helping only those guys. But I see in so many men a deep yearning for adventure, for true leadership, for living up to full potential. And this sounds a bit cliche, but you could see that they're tolerating their plight in many ways.
Yes.
They're in a relationship, kind of lukewarm. The job, it's okay.
Yeah.
But not really. And they talk with us because they have that sense. I want more adventure. I want to be extraordinary, and I don't know how, But it's part of the compromise. It's part of the compromise and the training that their readiness is not very big. That their preparedness is not big. That their warrior spirit is gone.
Yes.
And so, I'm thinking, what can we do to still help those men, to get out of the, like you said, out of the cocoon, the comfortableness, to make him even more ready.
There's no hope. They're gone.
And we, after yesterday's conversation, one of the other men wrote about the concept of we are in denial, and I think it's a great. I was considering that to be maybe a good comment and advice and as a coach to a man who comes with questions.
In denial, for example, if you say that you're asleep or you're compromising, or if you bring some kind of powerful challenge and they say, no, I'm not, they're in denial.
Or they're like, I put out the call and I notice that they're not answering it because it's... I have to face this now.
Yes.
I bring them on a call and I can see, or writing, and then they disappear because they don't want to deal with it.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, how close can we get to those guys and really say, you're in denial,
So I remember yesterday, man, so we're kind of building on yesterday's conversation. So if you feel lost at all in this, go back and watch yesterday's first, but we talked yesterday about inner conflict and how we've been essentially trained to compromise on our honor, our greatness, our power, our inner authority when in conflict with an external authority. We've learned to give up ourself, our own authority, for that external authority, to be good citizens, children, boyfriends, employees, whatever. And even those who have rebelled, they've also learned their own way of compromising. So, and it kills our power.
Because it's in reaction to that external authority.
And then we internalize that way of dealing with authority. Then as adults, we are still compromising against our own inner authority.
Right.
And it's keeping us asleep, it's robbing our power, all of that. So,
and it's getting worse and worse and worse.
Yes. And so, and you can see this if you call a man out on his vision, his values, who he could be, to the extent that he reacts or denies or makes an excuse, this reaction, instead of reminding him, he remembers the call and he's like, steps into it. This is evidence of the cocoon that he's built around him.
Right.
Right? I used this metaphor back in 97 when I was the three guys in my life who I was fighting for to wake them up and empower them were my three younger brothers. And I realized they're at this critical point because it's now that they'll start defining reality and who they are as men. And if it goes too far, they'll start coming up with these conclusions about who they are, about what's possible in life and everything else. And later on in life, I was clear, if I don't help fight for them now, they can start believing things that will have them be comfortable, not living a great life. So the metaphor I used was the phoenix, but I used it in a specific way. So the phoenix is this great mythological bird who rises from the ashes. Right, so he rises from the ashes as a paragon of excellence and virtue, far better than he was before. And so it's a symbol of transformation. But and human beings, we all have this capacity to face reality, to face ourselves, to realize a new possibility, and to wake up and choose a different path, and to transform. and to develop our ability to choose and be powerful and lead
Yes.
and create. But what happens is, and I, rather than the metaphor of the cocoon, I use or the nest. I mostly use the image of a cave. And so, inside of a cave, the phoenix cannot see its wings. So it can think about, man, I'd really like to be living on the other side of the world or across that canyon over there where everything's beautiful. But if he can't see his wings, he doesn't feel the pressure, the responsibility to fly. So with it, he can avoid the fear because it's not even a possibility. He doesn't really see that he has a choice. He can avoid the guilt because, again, he doesn't even see how he could do anything differently. So it feels very comfortable to just dream, to just have wishes and fantasies. But there's no vision, he can't see his wings, he can't see his choice. And because it's dark inside of the cave, right? Now he also can't feel the wind. Birds, a gust of wind comes along. And I imagine this, I don't know how it is, but, the wind comes along and probably they have an instinctual response to take off, to raise their wings. But inside of the cave, the wind doesn't come and stimulate that instinct to raise its wings and fly. And so, again, there's no sense that I'm a phoenix. I could believe I'm just, something that's not a phoenix and be comfortable, not flying and transforming, if you will. And I actually, we talked yesterday about jumping and about how just making a leap into the fear in the direction of the transformation that you desire can be incredible for launching your transformation, risky though it may be. And I like to read a poem I wrote back in 2007. So this is powerful for me at times when I feel like maybe I've gone back inside of my cave, when I'm not really facing who I could be. And it's called Tonight I Fly. Stepping out of my cave into darkness, into fierce wind and cold rain, I face the great unknown, beyond, above, and below. Gripping the edge of the cliff with my feet, I close my eyes to envision my flight. Never before have I flown. My moment of birth, my moment of death. When I raise my wings, I'll be ripped from the rock by the winds of challenge. I'll be hurled into the great unknown. I am a phoenix. I will not live my life in a cave. I will not die old without having flown. I will not wait for death, for to wait is to die, and if to fly is to die, I will die to fly. Now is the time. I open my wings and bearing my breast to the torrents of death, I let go. So it's taking a stand, right? Even this is who I am. I'm facing all of this. And transformation can happen in the moment that you make a stand like that.
Make a leap like that.
Make a leap like that. So, anyway, I don't know how much people are going to follow necessarily the conversation, but we can come back to the challenge that we have in reaching either allies or clients or.
So we're coming at this cave and we're looking inside and see this animal, and we recognize the phoenix. We say, "You're a phoenix. You can fly.
It's like, no, I'm not.
And the exercises.
So we're shining the light, on, look, you have wings. And no, I don't. And the cave closes shut again in the darkness. No.
Come on, man, I'm
I
sleeping.
avoided that pressure. Yeah, get out of here.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, but I am believing that we are answering, we're not going just up to the cave, and tell guys you're a phoenix. There has been something there already. There's something there already that they think, wow, because otherwise they wouldn't come to us. There's something there already that they say. It's something is up, something is off, something is not quite right, something
Yes.
is not like I expected it to be when I was a kid and I had these big dreams.
Yes.
Something is off and I don't know what it is.
The phoenix will suffer. Imagine any great bird that lives its life in a cage, right? Mm-hmm. There's suffering there,
We talked in. Go ahead.
You can hear O pointed this out to me one time. We were on a call, and I was in Thailand, and I was talking to him, and he said that sound in the background, it's caged birds near you, and there was. I was the place I was living. They kept birds in cages, and there's like a certain sound that they make, it's like ah, it's like let me out of here, I want to fly, and it was. I could never hear the sound of a caged bird again like that the same way. It's like they want to fly.
Yes.
So I just I'm mapping that on to these guys. Reaching out. They want to fly.
We're talking about like the differences also between younger and older men. Because it becomes harder with time.
Yes.
The jump seems bigger.
Yes.
The cocoon seems a bit more comfortable.
Yes.
So. Yeah, if you're younger, then it could be enough to stand unwavering and to not give in to the pressure. But if you're older, you'll have to fight back all those automatic responses that you've developed,
Yes.
and the cocoon has become a lot stronger to break through.
Yes. Yeah, we were talking about how when faced with the disparity between what our values are, what we really care about, or what we say we do, and how we're choosing to live our life. And that's a moment of choice right there. I can step up and honor my values. And what we tend to do is not do that and then rationalize not doing that.
Right.
And with each rationalization, which is some kind of typically a verbal something to make it so we don't feel guilt, this is what closes the hole in the
Right.
cave shut again. This is what builds that nest higher and higher so that it envelops you and you can go back to sleep comfortably.
Yeah, with a blanket that's kind of comfortable, but not really. That's what, for me, was the biggest, or the thing that got a lot clearer yesterday, is when we're first of all, you got to get clear on what your values are, but people can sense it, and they can sense it once they're not listening to their values. So once you know your values are, and you're not acting, or you're faced with a choice that's either acting in accordance with the values, but is scary, we have the fear to do it, and so we try to not do it, and then when we don't do it, we feel the guilt of not acting in accordance with our values, but that seems short-term, an easier solution than facing the fear and doing it anyway.
Yes.
Because now we only have to deal with the guilt, and the way to deal with guilt is to tell us stories, like we said yesterday. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow.
Yes.
I'll do it the next time.
Yes.
I'm not ready.
Yes.
Or why now? And so it's that short term. It seems a little bit more comfortable.
Yes.
But the cocoon gets bigger, and
Yes.
it's harder to break free. and it comes with suffering. The suffering of killing your soul slowly, and the suffering of this down the line when you decide, fuck this, I got enough of this, and now you try to break free of the cocoon.
Yes.
It's a lot bigger now. It's a
Yes.
lot stronger.
Yes.
It's a much harder fight. So that's why it's so
And
important to do it
yes.
early on.
In fact, I mean, just as an example, you spent your whole life with a belief that I'm not a morning person, and that gets locked in after you've tried a number of times. Like, I wish I was I want to be a morning person.
Yes.
You try. Eventually, it's a lot more comfortable to just say, well, that's not me.
Yes.
Then you no longer feel the whatever that you're not doing it.
Right.
Right? And the pain of trying and failing. You can avoid all of that pain of, that's the pain, what I would say back in 97, I would call that like the pain of flight. The fear I might fall, the guilt if I don't do it, right? If I just stay on the cliff, all of that. Like all of that pain of flight goes away if I just say, I'm not a phoenix.
Yes.
In other words, go back to the cave. And so, later in life. Now this is not just things that we say to ourselves. This is neurology. Faced with a certain awareness, we lock it in. I'm not that person. I can't do this. This isn't possible. I'll do it tomorrow. Whatever the narration is. These are neural pathways that are building. So it very much is like this web, this matrix, right? That keeps you comfortable not facing.
Like an addiction almost. The deeper you go, the more you got addicted, and the longer it takes. The harder it will be to become a non-alcoholic.
Yes.
And the more time you will spend afterwards being vigilant, not to fall back in.
Yes.
I see it now with my waking up. I didn't succeed in waking up early for 45 years. And so I do it now consistently. It's been a month and a half. And I have to watch it.
Yes.
I have to watch it and keep doing it.
Yes. And it's, I think about a friend of mine who...
Hey, Kelsey.
He wakes up, he's in his 50s, he wakes up every day to the judgment, self-judgment, shame, whatever, from like, he's basically taken the last couple decades off, basically retreated to his cave for a couple decades. And first thing in the morning, like he wakes up to that, plus all the guilt and shame and judging of who he should be and what he should be doing. And man, it's monumental, such that there's like a knot, a pain in his chest that he wakes up to, that wakes him up in the morning, of stress, and then he lives with that. He lives throughout the day with that. And when you've been judging yourself for so long and trying to avoid everyone else's judgments for so long, like he's literally created a cave for himself in life, in locking himself inside, so he doesn't have to deal with other people looking at him. He doesn't have to be visible. He doesn't have to look in the mirror, right? Like, we'll even do this. We'll even hide from people because it becomes painful for people to really see us, because when people see us, we see how they see us. We see ourselves. And that can be painful, and we don't want that.
I just realized something.
We don't want that if we've really been compromising.
Right, but that is the point where the solution and the saving grace is that we have that pain. I just realized, for any guy who hears this message, who hears a call, who feels like something is off, something is not quite right, and has a yearning, but also like a pain around it, like even if it's a shame or like whew, there's something is not quite, and he can sense it, and it's uncomfortable, that is also the point of where the possibility of changes, and realizing at the same time, if you feel that pain, like right now, like I'm not living up to realize at that point, if you don't do anything now, it's only gonna get worse. It's not gonna get better anymore. It's gonna get worse and worse and worse and worse.
Yes.
So what's the alternative? It's not like it's like you're sleeping and you got a blanket and it's a bit cold, but you're a bit too tired to wake up and do something about it.
Yeah.
You know, but it's too cold to really go to sleep, and you're like in this limbo, and it will get worse. You'll get more tired. You'll get more cold. So what you need to do is
feel more guilt, like I should be getting up, but I'm not.
Yes. So if you have any inkling of like fuck, and you got a pain around that, like I'm not living up to my full potential, I'm not doing it, you know, that's great, and realize it's gonna get worse. So you might as well do something now or sooner than now, because it's gonna get worse. I think that's a great, powerful thing to say.
The ally is the guy who will see you in your cave.
Right.
And it might be a go away. It might be annoying, whatever. But he won't go away. He'll come with the hammer. He'll come with the, whatever to break you out.
Right.
Hans, remember who you are,
Neo.
like he'll see you.
Neo, you're the one.
And it's the power of honor is like, to use the cave metaphor, it's when the light comes in, but you're filled suddenly with warmth. And you can look at yourself and your wings, even though you've been feeling guilt or whatever, and you remember who you are in a beautiful way, and then you're called from honor into flight. This is the power of honor. So it's and this light can come from your heart, this warm, this glow, this power from within. It's so powerful to both have allies and have access to honor, have facility with honor to grow this sunshine inside of your heart, right?
Yes. Because if you feel the call, we are talking to you. We are talking to you.
Yes.
I talk to Neo. Neo. We know you're out there, Neo. You're the one.
Save you guys from Hans' nose being in your face, but we are talking to you. Guys definitely gonna want to go back to sleep now.
Neo needs
pull the
to
cover
know.
over my face.
Neo needs to know. We see it in him. You're the one. You're the phoenix.
Yes.
We see it in you.
You are certainly the one for your own life.
Yes.
1992, I was on a balcony in Austin, Texas, on the drag, Guadalupe. It was in a dormitory. I was 21. And I was on the top floor balcony talking to a friend. He's actually become a fairly public figure. He is a public figure. And we were talking one night, and he said, "It sounds like you've been reading Ayn Rand." And I was like, "Who?" And we went inside his room, and he had some books, and he gave me this one book. I think it was Capitalism, the Unknown Ideal. And a lot of people, they hear that Ayn Rand, and they just immediately, if they have ideas about her, judgments or whatever, they criticize her politics or whatever. But and I was kind of scanning through this book, and I think at first I saw something on the back where she's like, "I'm calling to the men of the intellect, wherever such may still be found." And there was like a call there, and I was interested, and I opened up, and I just within a few seconds or a few minutes of like looking through, and I saw this passage where she basically said, and this was like a moment of like, holy shit, she's my ally. Like I was like, she basically said, you, the individual man, you have a right to your own happiness. You have a right to be happy. And I came from a kind of like a background which kind of said that
Gotta do your duty.
it's all about this one way, this one like religious way. It's all, but like for me to be happy. And she said, you have a responsibility to fight for your own happiness. And basically make a stand for your own happiness. Not only you have the right to be happy, but you have the responsibility to do it. And I felt that call, And her book, The Fountainhead, which I read all her nonfiction first, but then when I eventually read her fiction, The Fountainhead is a story of a one man with he's an architect, and it's him being true to his vision in the face of a world that's trying to destroy him and his vision. And he stays true, and it's just like a man standing for his values and his vision. There's a profound sense of like honor about it. And it was just a beautiful kind of ideal, to aim for. But yeah, I would just say to the guys out there that you have a right not only to happiness, but you have a right to honor. Like it's your birthright, to feel this calling, this yes from inside. And you have a responsibility to yourself to fight for it. Like others can come to you and they can call out to you and they can be your ally and they can challenge you, but only you can answer the call. Mm-hmm. Only you can answer the call, and you have a responsibility to yourself, your people, your future generations, your future self even. Maybe even to your ancestors, to fulfill the destiny they carved out to you, who you can be, the man you can become. You owe it to yourself to answer that call. And yeah, there's work we can help you reclaim your honor. We can help you answer that call powerfully.
As we talk about phoenixes, look, there's a shadow of this bird here.
Yes.
We're calling you to fly.
Yes. That's beautiful.
We'll see each other.
That's it.
Tomorrow? We'll see each other tomorrow again.
Raise your wings.
Raise your wings.